Thank you, Brock. If you would bow your hearts with me, please. Great are you, Lord, and most worthy of praise. Your greatness no one can fathom. Your faithfulness continues through all generations. Thank you for this city, its businesses, its institutions, and its people. Thank you that we still have the freedom to gather here to celebrate the blessings you have so wonderfully bestowed upon it. And how blessed we are. Blessed by the leaders of this city, Mayor Mouton and the City Council, who govern compassionately and with an intense love for this city. Blessed by those employees who keep the city operating efficiently. Blessed by the first responders who selflessly serve to keep us safe and secure. We are blessed indeed. So Lord, we pray for your favor on everything said and done here today. Let no one leave here like they came, but as the blessings of the past year are remembered and the potential of an exciting future unfolds, fill everyone with the desire to find their place of service and become a part of this grand Deer Park adventure. And whatever that place of service may be, let us conduct ourselves with honor, handle our business with integrity, and lead with wisdom. So bless the food we've been served, for we receive it with thanksgiving according to the Scriptures, intending no offense toward those who believe differently. I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order! Up! Post! Colors!
Forward. March. March. Out. Please. Forward. March. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Now time for our Mayor's State of the City 2014 State of the City Address.
Use any two, including medium two-topping pizzas for just $5.99 each.
Welcome back to our continuing 6-hour coverage of the annual State of the City Address right here on the Deer Network. The mayor is expected to take the stage in a matter of minutes, where he will recap last year and outline his plan for the future of our city. Let's bring in Cole Triplett, who's been embedded at City Hall for the last 3 months. Cole, what can we expect to hear from the mayor today?
Well, as you mentioned, Eli, Mayor Mouton is going to take this opportunity to tout his blockbuster successes of the past year. Watch him to hit the heavy highlights such as Wi-Fi in the city pool, the pavement of 13th Street, and of course, the increase in narcotics arrests over the past year.
Of course, that's a given. What about his plan for the current year?
Eli, you can expect the usual song and dance from this one. He's going to be talking about the parks and the roadways and sewage and blah, 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 blah. come on, for most of the people attending, it's gonna be a real snoozer. But luckily, I was escorted out by security for hitting the buffet a little early.
I don't think that's a buffet event.
Oh, no, Eli, this goes well beyond the year 2015. I got to spend 12 hours a day for 90 days straight with the mayor, and his planning into the future goes way beyond our comprehension. For Jerry Mouton, the future of our city is his #1 priority. And for a mayor, one can never be too prepared.
My job is to step back and look at the big picture. What most people don't understand is how big the picture is.
You won't hear about them at Thursday's address, but for the first time ever, City Hall has given us a glimpse into their long-range plans for Deer Park.
So we thought long and hard about where we want to be 10, 15 years in the future. And the truth is, the future is grim. I've seen enough sci-fi movies to know that. So one of the major projects we've been working on is a permanent civil defense structure.
You're talking about a bomb shelter.
Well, mainly just something designed to keep like zombies out or people from LaPorte.
The mayor says the proposed shelters will also be coin-operated, so in the event of the zombie apocalypse, they'll generate revenue. And that's not all that's planned for Dow Park. A public splash pad water feature is currently under construction in the park, but the mayor has much bigger plans.
This project I'm really excited about. Imagine, Slitterbomb Deer Park.
Though you won't see it anytime soon in the next decade, this is what the mayor calls his legacy.
Honestly, this is why I ran for office. Until I can float on a river of lazy around a water slide that reaches to the clouds, I will not rest.
And Eli, these are just a couple of the hundreds of important projects coming down the line in Deer Park. One other of note, a monorail down Center Street so people can, quote, focus on what's important while they travel. Texting. Eli?
Wow. Well, we're not going to want to miss the 2035 State of the City Address. Joining me now in the studio, Superintendent for Deer Park ISD, Dr. Ronald Adair. Dr. Adair, what are some of your initial thoughts of what you just saw?
Well, I'm glad to see that Mr. Mouton is looking ahead and planning for the future. As a tax-paying citizen, I'm really happy about that. I do hope he considers the aging population. As for myself, I'm concerned and hope that everything does and is handicap accessible. You know, after all,
okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to stop you there. The mayor is approaching the podium. We now take you live to the 2015 State of the City Address, Mr. Jerry Mouton.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Welcome, 2015 State of the City Address. First, I need to introduce the love of my life. My first love, Tammy Mouton, my wife, First Lady of the City of Deer Park. I have my son, my oldest son, Corey. His twin sister, Courtney, is sitting right back here. And my youngest daughter, Natalie, is off at Sam Houston State and cannot be here today. My #1 fan for the last 49 years is my mother. So, thanks for being here. As an annual tradition that was started many years ago, today I want to dedicate the 2015 State of the City Address to former City Manager Ron Crabtree. And it's a tremendous honor that we have his wife with us here today, Doris, and 2 of his children here today. And today this is in dedication of him for serving our city very faithfully for 22 years. So thanks for being here. The theme for today would be, in a simple word, just planning. The strategic plan was something that was spoken about last year. Council and I worked for the last 6 to 9 months updating our strategic plan. 5 areas of emphasis: leadership, quality of life, comprehensive planning, economic development, public safety. Some of the items that I'm going to focus on in this presentation today is the special districts elections, interlocal agreements, meeting with the Deer Park ISD, and last but not least, one of our newest positions in the city, the PR marketing specialist. That video was done by, who was that done by? Jared Krill, Travis Pennington at the Technology Department, and the students there were with the Broadcasting Journalism Department from, in my opinion, one of the best districts in the state. Very proud that they are in Deer Park, the Deer Park ISD. Some of our other partners, Harris County Flood, we'll be showing some stuff on them in a little bit. But the Sandy Center College, I'm very proud of the work they do in this region, and a key emphasis that affects us all, and that's workforce development. I'm very proud, and I know some of them are here today. Thank you for the job that you do. Interlocal cooperation. Harris County Precinct Commissioner Mormon has touted and has become, in my opinion, an infrastructure specialist, and he has done a fantastic job. And the other mayors that are here with us today will attest that he has done a fantastic job investing in infrastructure in our region. And listed on this map is some of the dots or some projects that we did last year. And it was rehabilitating streets, and we did approximately 10 or 11 streets, 3.24 miles, totaling well over $800,000. And we want to thank the county for their partnership. Quality of life has been getting something that I've focused on a lot. We've spent some time updating our park master plan, working on revitalization of Center Street, implementing the Gateway master plan, which we'll be seeing a little bit here, beautification of public spaces, and signage systems. Funny story is when I got sworn in here almost 2 years ago, my pastor who's here today, I invited him to come, and a few minutes before the council meeting is going to start, he calls me. He's like, so I can't find City Hall. I'm like, what do you mean you can't find City Hall? Everybody knows where City Hall is, but he doesn't live in Deer Park. I'm like, well, where are you at? And he's like, well, I'm in front of this building. It's got a big sign that says community center. And I'm like, well, I'm right next door, and I'm walking out a little frustrated because he's late. And I'm like, what's up? And I walk out and I realize, you know, all the trees had grown up, and you couldn't see the sign on the building. And it started a conversation, well, maybe we need to update our signage system in regards to some people that come into the city that don't know where everything's at. So I picked on you today, Pastor Garrett, so he'll get me back to you in a little bit. So going back to the master plan of parks, we're fixing to see a video of some of the stuff that we did this past year.
Welcome everybody to the Terrace Park Playground dedication.
Parks are a very, very important part of our lives. As we all know as children, you know, we come to the park, we make friends, we make actually lifelong friends sometimes, and it gives families an opportunity to come out and the kids to play and the parents to sit out and watch them, and takes us away from the television.
Is this the first one in the Houston Metroplex area?
The first Playwell zip line in the Houston Metroplex.
The first Playwell zip line, all right. If I were to leave a few thoughts here, you know, this is hopefully the beginning of the investment of what I and everyone on council believe is a very important part of what makes Deer Park, and as we continue to grow our city, which is the quality of life initiatives.
This is the third public event we've had celebrated just in the last few months. There's going to be many more to come over the next several months and years ahead as we continue working very hard to improve our parks and rec facilities in Deer Park. So.
On three, ready? 1, 2, 3.
They always catch everything on the video. So remember, the theme of this year's planning. Part of the planning that we did was developing a comprehensive master plan on our parks, and that made us eligible to apply for some grants, which the city recently was awarded a $400,000 grant from Texas Parks and Wildlife to develop a wetlands project. And here's the location of it. It's going to be off East Boulevard. There's X Street and Underwood. So there's about a 38-acre tract with this area right here. They're going to be restoring some trails and landscaping. Deer Park Splash Pad. Last year was a dream. This year it's a reality. Construction has begun. Some nice renderings. It's going to be in Dow Park right behind the new play areas. The renovation of Dow Park Pool. We redid the kiddie area, and I'm telling you, it has become a major hit. The reservations to reserve that area around the play area for the kids has been off the charts. We've had more activity this year than we've seen in years, and it's been a tremendous investment that's made a huge impact in our quality of life. Planning. I bet everybody here today has got a cell phone, and most of us are on Facebook or some kind of social media. That's the way of the future. That's how most of us are going to communicate. So the city's made an emphasis of trying to upgrade our social media outreach in regards to not only our website, but our Facebook presence, making people aware of the programs we have going on in the city. The Deer Park Library just recently was awarded the 2014 Achievement of Excellence Award, and it impressed me that we were one of 39 out of 555 that were eligible to receive this award. So I'm very proud of the public library and the job that they do. Free public Wi-Fi. I mean, every time I turn around, it's getting to where when you go to supper with your family, right? About the only way you can communicate is to text to them. So it's just getting a necessity, right? If you go to all the parks, you got to have Wi-Fi. So it's not bad enough we have it at the pool, community center, Maxwell Center. We got it at City Hall, but this is the catcher right here. Now we have Wi-Fi at the dog park. That's getting with the program, I'm just saying. Man. The Maxwell Center coffee bar dedication. It's nice to invest in areas where people are going to be hanging out, drink a cup of coffee. I'm getting to that age where I need my daily fix of a coffee just to make it through the day. The Gateway Project. We are now one of 10 themed Gateway projects in the region. I know it took us a while. It's going to be located on Center Street coming in on the north end, and it's going to be on the south end as well. Here's some renderings thanks to the work with the San Jacinto, Texas Historical District through the Economic Alliance. These are the renderings that are going, and if you see the size, this is the equivalent of about 6 foot. So they're going to be about 8 foot on each side, with these statues reaching up to about 14 foot. It's going to be a very impressive interest. They broke ground on it. I'm looking forward to it. These stars will be lit up, and then in the walkways on each side of it, there's going to be a lot of uplighting. That's going to be a major impact coming into our city on the north end. Is the monument that's going to be on the south end. I'm very, very excited about this project to be completed, and it'll be completed later in this year. There's a groundbreaking. And if I recall, whoever was scheduled that, it was one of the coldest days we had that year, and I about froze. So next time we schedule a groundbreak, make sure it's on a nicer day. Sponsors. As you know, on a lot of these community projects like this, it makes a huge impact, and I want to recognize the sponsors, Michelle, Liberal, Houston, Galveston Area Council, and last but not least, the Economic Alliance for spearheading these projects. It's going to be a tremendous impact in the city of Deer Park, and I'm very excited about this project. Planning, again, planning. That was an emphasis. I think that if you had to coin one word this year, we have spent a lot of time planning. Why is it important planning? Because the question needs to be asked, where are we going to be in 25 years? What are the things we need to deal with? Well, here's some initiatives in our planning phase: infrastructure, long-range financial stability, and municipal facilities. One of the projects that we are in the planning stage on the municipal facilities is redoing City Hall. City Hall hasn't been touched in 43 years since it was built. So we're fixing to do an expansion, reusing as efficiently as possible space in the current facility and expanding for the future needs that we need. Public Works has got a lot of stuff in the next little bit, and Mr. Peterson should pat me on the back when I finish, because Public Works is going to get a lot of PR in the next few minutes, and there was some very impressive numbers. We've been rehabilitating a lot of areas in the sections of town. 41,800 feet of linear sewer pipe has been replaced and upgraded. Sidewalks, we've made a huge investment in sidewalk projects around the town. City Hall parking lot expansion, which we are adjacent to Dow Park, so it's giving us some more space for all the activities coming to Dow Park. Here's some before and after pics of streets. And remember, Bill Peace, you better thank me. I just did a lot of stuff in public works. Sidewalks, tremendous impact of making our community a more friendly family environment to live. So Patrick's Biodetention Basin. This was a project, and when I click, it's going to show you slides through the whole project. Well, let's see if we can do this to work. Here we go. So my question one day to former Mayor Riddle, I asked him one day, I said, well, why did you run? Now, he ran for the first time in 1981. He said, well, I ran because of drainage. I'm like, really? Drainage? Well, we've got documentation and paperwork going back to 1984 when this project was in the conceptual stages, through a lot of hard work between former Mayor Riddle and former Mayor Jimmy Burke getting this project going off of the ground. It finally reached a point with a great work partnership between the Harris County and Harris County Flood District. They started, it took them over a year. And as you see some of these pictures, that is not just a normal dump truck, that's a semi-dump truck. So they estimated it took 30,000 of them dump trucks to move all the dirt so we can build this detention for flooding. 30,000. So if you were to start right here in Deer Park, you can go all the way to Mississippi if you stacked them up. That's how many trucks it took to haul all this dirt. 38 acres. It's a pretty impressive project, and it's addressing the needs for the future in regards to flooding. Very, very, very impressive. Cement, I know my friend Ryan Taylor likes to see all that cement work. Is he here? I know he's here somewhere. Very, very impressive project. Look at there. Another ribbon cutting. The weather was really nice that day. Public Works. Again, I told you, we have got so much stuff going. I'm very proud because we're planning for the future. What is Deer Park going to be in the next 25 years? Well, upgrading some of our facilities in regards to the emergency services. This project of expanding the fire station was funded by the Fire Crime Prevention and Emergency Medical Services District Fund. So that'll be something that I'll be discussing here in the next few minutes. Public Works. Have any of you seen that big old tower on Pasadena Boulevard? Now, when we were putting this together, kind of a little funny, they had them things up there and we were cutting up and it looked like Pinhead. Anybody ever seen that movie, Pinhead? That's what someone said in the staff when we were discussing that. But they had draped it over, but they rehabilitated the whole tank. They started on the inside and finished the outside, again, preparing for the future. So how do you talk about a wastewater treatment plant? I mean, what do you say, you know? So I wanted to show you these pics because CDM and Smith did a great project of helping us design the upgrades we needed. Phase 1 and Phase 2 designs were done. And this is about the coolest way you can talk about the wastewater treatment plant. But it is a 3D image of the last phase. It's out for bid right now in regards to how they take in and process it and clean it and, you know what has to be done, right? Do I have to say anything else? But it's a pretty impressive way to look at a sewer treatment plant, right? I mean, you'd have to give me that, right? Public Works projects coming up. Again, drainage issue. So when 8th Street Bridge right here was done, so this is the North Campus right here, and then you got First Baptist on this side, but this has become what is defined as bottleneck. So when the flood waters rise up, it bottlenecks right there. So we're going to be taking that bridge out, doing the ditch all the way through and building a new bridge over it so there's no restriction there. Another project's planned for this year, street reconstruction. I just got an email here yesterday in regards to that project is starting next Monday. Norwood Street is being replaced, Marlene, Peggy, and Martha. All these streets have been identified as aging streets that are collapsing. We're slowly but surely going through and replacing and upgrading. Comprehensive plan update. The planning and zoning ordinances for the city of Deer Park hadn't been updated since the 1960s. But as most of you would say, a lot of things have changed in the last 50, 40 years, right? So this is a total review of everything we got on the books on how do we update our zoning and ordinances to address the needs of the future. So we're in the middle of that. We've been in that for a few months, and it'll take about 14 months to complete. $46 million worth of investment of permits were pulled last year, both on the residential and the commercial side. So very proud that our community is thriving and is doing well and is growing. So from the city side, we're wanting to increase the efficiency of how can we help be a business-friendly town. And one of that is to update our software, making it much easier to apply for permits online. Financial stability. Very proud that we are now in the 27th consecutive year of receiving an award for excellence in financial reporting from the Texas Comptroller's Office. Strategic Technology Master Plan is another important way of how do we address the needs of the future. Because this is going to be an integral way of how do we continue to provide the services that we need to provide. Economic development, as a small business owner, and when you look at how communities run, I don't think there's any more important indicator of how your city's doing outside of economic development. Because it's important for the revenue streams, for households, for families to make a good living. It makes a good impact on your city. We're trying to address our policies to make sure we're where we need to be. This is a tremendous slide that shows you the growth that is going on in Deer Park in our businesses. Since 2006 to 2014, continued growth in our business sector. Again, touting a new development that just has opened, that Smash Burger hadn't been open, and thanks to Mr. Rob Johnson, I know he's out here somewhere. It went from this right here to all this right here, and we're just appreciative when developers want to come in and make an impact like that. HEB. There's been a lot of talk about that. There's in the final stages of completing that agreement. I'm very excited about the potential impact this is going to have on our community. If you look at the location, it's going to be right across and adjacent. And I know some of the developers are here today, and I want to thank them for their hard work on putting this project together. And just to give you a perspective, this is the corner of East Boulevard and Spencer, and this development has big picture plans to continue all the way down to Underwood. So it's going to be close to a 60-acre commercial development that's going to bring tremendous economic impact and options and opportunities to our community. Which puts us in a place where we want to have a positive business environment. So we're trying to address that so we can continue to be committed to business expansion, diversification, job creation by updating our policies. Again, we're talking about planning for the future. How do we stay in the best position that we need to so investments can continue and so job creations can continue? From the city side, it's working with industry and businesses to make sure we have a good environment for them to invest in our communities. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our partnerships on a local level as far as our economic developers. I know Mr. Culp is here, and he's most probably wondering what I'm fixing to say, and most of you know. I want to be very nice to him today, but I appreciate the job you do and the Chamber does in regards to the impact you provide to the city. Just clicking along, where's it going there? Economic Alliance play a huge role not only in the city of Deer Park, but in this whole region, and I'm very proud to partner up with them. We went to Austin a few weeks ago, and it was a tremendous honor to work side by side with the Economic Alliance in regards to the impact they not only bring to Deer Park, but in this region. Industrial district agreements. I'm very proud to reach this point, and I know some of our industrial partners are in the house today. Typically, our agreements have been on 7-year ranges. it was most probably, it was a great experience, and I was very proud to work with you. We extended our agreements this time around to a 12-year agreement, and we worked very hard to encourage new investments by expanding the incentives that industry needs to invest into their plants so we can help secure the future economic base of our region. And I'm very proud. I know Shell's sitting right here, but all of them that are listed, and I've met with many of you today. I want to thank you for the role y'all play in Deer Park. I'm very proud of that. Kristen Edwards, coming out of our strategic planning, this was a position that we identified and focused on, and I'm very proud in a very short amount of time she's made a tremendous impact. We have gone out for contract with an architect, as you see here. We are in the stage of redesigning the Jimmy Burke, which you're currently in. We're going to be putting a new visitor center here on the Jimmy Burke Center, where she'll have an office here, and she'll be promoting the good things that are going on, the programs that are going on, not only in the city, but into the region. So she's done a great job of helping me today. She's worried about what I'm going to say, but I'm being very nice because she's done a really good job. And Kristen, wherever you are, thank you for helping me this week. Get ready for today. Well, if I could ever work this clicker. Hotel, the reason I wanted this in there, because it shows you the steady growth. As the hotel tax is going on, it means that our hotels are staying full. We have reached a consistent average of about 75% of occupancy rate, and that is really good. And the growth is continuing to go up, and I'm very proud to see that. As mayor, it was a privilege of mine to form and appoint a Type B committee to identify projects. This has been a much discussed topic in this community for many years, and so I appointed this committee to identify projects. We've got a new pavilion that we're talking about proposing in Dow Park, hike and bike trails, new soccer complexes, renovating the softball complex. We've got the Maxwell Center. We're going to do some renovation there. Here's a list of some of the projects, but one I want to mention here is renovating the active area in the community center by expanding the gymnasium, doubling the size of it, putting in a new therapeutic pool for exercise purposes, and so I'm very excited about the potential of this. I can tell you today we're meeting at 2 o'clock. Council is to vote whether or not to put this on the ballot for it being an option in regards to how do we fund some of these quality of life projects. So I look forward to this being a good positive impact into our community. Public safety is obviously, when you're in government, is number one. I mean, that's most probably the one thing we all want in a community is public safety. And there's been a number of things identified. The EMS calls have continued to go up as our community has grown. Our Deer Park Crime Control District has made a huge impact in the sales tax and bringing in revenue that's helped us fund buying new cars and the equipment that our officers need. There's Officer Taylor right there. She's still in the house. This is the Deer Park Crime Prevention District Board, and I appreciate the hard work they do. Some new programs that they've funded this year listed right here. Citizens Park Patrol is a program that's come out of that, and I'm very proud, and I know recently we got some news on that, but some of our Citizens Park Patrol and some of our volunteers addressing some issues. Chaplain program, I know Pastor here, he's here today, and Victim Services. Tremendous opportunity to make a good positive impact in our community. This is something the cops are really excited about. They like to shoot their guns. So we're going to give them a place to shoot their gun. This has been proposed through the crime district. That's a replica of what it'll look like. This is over off of Luella. The fire training area is right there. Fire crime prevention, emergency medical services. I would challenge any of you to say that very fast. It's a tongue twister. I had to do it several times. But I appreciate the the voters believing in us to approve that when they did. It's going to be coming up in 2016, both the crime and the fire. Some of the things we've been able to invest in is a new fire truck there. I know some of the calls have steadily gone up as your community grows. These are some of the benefits and the aspects of what you have to deal with in a growing community. Emergency calls going up. So a number of things there. Oh, just went. There it is. Oh, I'll get to that in just a minute. Our city's planning gives us hope for our community, for our children, and for our future. You know, we say that Deer Park has become a community opportunity, and I believe that with all my heart. But I hope one day that we not only become a community of opportunity, but a community of hope. I think hope should be an important ingredient of the foundation we build for the future. And it's something that I think as a member of council that every decision we make should be mixed in with hope for the future, because what we do today will determine what Deer Park looks like in 25 years.
The day is finally here, the beginning of the year. I am filled with expectations and a tiny bit of fear.
So if you're wondering what that's all about, if you hadn't heard, Dr. Adair has announced his retirement. He not only has been our superintendent for, and correct me on the number, the last 10 years, but you've been an educator for how many years? 40 years, is that correct? 40 years, an educator in this great city of Deer Park in the best school district in, and I'd have been remiss if I didn't do something kind of show off your singing skills and stuff like that. But I wanted to thank you for your contributions to what makes Deer Park makes us so great, and our school district wouldn't be what it is today without the impact you had. So as I've come to figure out in life, when you've done the best you can, if my pastor would please come up, I want to have him come up and close with a word of prayer. State of the city is awesome. And when you've done all you know to do, and I think we've got a good plan for our future, I still think it's very important that you ask God to bless your plans. So I've asked my pastor here at Booth to come and honor me by saying a prayer that God would continue to bless our city.
Let's bow. Our Creator God, from the beginning of our great nation, we've been one nation under you, dedicated to the proposition that freedom comes from you and exists because of you. We've lived under your hand of guidance as we fought for our freedom and secured the idea that the American dream can be the American reality. We've been blessed by you. Today we live in the greatest nation on the face of the earth. And what's made us great in centuries past is our commitment to live by your principles and in obedience to your word. Today we're free to worship as our conscience dictates, free to dream with no limits, free to achieve, free to build businesses, and free to raise our children with the hope of opportunity and greatness. Today we're blessed. You've blessed this city with resources, a healthy economic environment, a great quality of life, and most of all, great people who make up the fabric of any society. Today we are committed, and this year we re-enlist to uphold the values that have made us a great city, the value of family, the value of opportunity, and the value of freedom. Today we ask again for your blessing on our leaders with wisdom and guidance, for your blessing on our homes and families with peace, for your blessing on our children with safety and opportunity, for your blessing on our businesses with prosperity, and for your blessing on our city. We pray today in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you so much for coming. So on behalf of myself, the City of Deer Park, for the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event, I wish you a good day, and that's the end of the program. Thank you so much.